Hi guys, now we'll see Leetcode SQL question employees whose manager left the company. So we are given a table named employees. This table contains information about the employees, their salary and the ID of their manager. Like it has four columns: employee ID, name, manager ID and salary. And it is given that employee ID is the primary key for this table, and some employees may not have a manager. That is, for some employees their manager ID may be null. Now we have to find IDs of employees whose salary is strictly less than $30,000 and whose manager has left the company. Also, it is given when a manager leaves the company, their information is deleted from the employees table. That is, from in employee table, if you will see, their employee ID will not be present, but the reports still have their manager ID. But the employees who were reporting to that manager, in their manager ID field, that manager's ID would be still there even after they have left. Then we have to return the result table ordered by employee ID. Like we'll see example to understand it in a better way. Here this is like employee ID. This is employees table. We have four column: employee ID, name of the employee, manager ID, and salary. Now we want those employee ID whose salary is less than 30,000 USD and whose manager has left the company. That is, manager ID should not be null. That means they should have some manager, but they have leave the company. But their employee ID should, their ID should not be present in employee ID. Like if we see example of employee ID 11, his manager ID is 6 and his salary is this. This is less than 30,000 USD. So first criteria, he is satisfied that his salary is less than 30,000 USD and his manager ID is 6. That is, he is or was reporting to some manager, and this manager ID is not present now in employee ID. That means his manager has left the company, so he satisfies all these conditions, so we have written employee ID 11. Now how we can approach this? So if somehow for every employee ID in the same row, if we can get managers detail also, then simply we can filter the rows based on the condition that salary should be less than 30K and manager ID should not be null. That means they should be reporting to some manager, but ID should not be present in employee ID. That means the manager has left the company. So now how we can do this? So we can simply do left join of employee table with itself on the condition that manager ID of first table should be equal to employee ID of the second table. Then after that we can simply filter the rows based on the condition that salary should be less than 30K, manager ID should not be null, and manager's employee ID should be null. Like we'll see the actual query to understand it in a better way. So first we have done self join of employees table with itself, like even left join e2. Now in the final output we want only one column, employee ID, so we have selected employee ID from the resultant table that we got after joining the tables based on the condition that manager ID of first table should be equal to employee ID of second table. Now we are just filtering our rows based on the condition that employee salary should be less than 30,000 and employee's manager ID should not be null, because at least that employee should be reporting to some manager, and that manager's ID should not be present in employee ID in second table. So E2 dot employee ID is null. That means that manager has left the company. Now in the question it is given that you should return the result by ordered by employee ID. So we have done order by employee ID. Now we'll see second approach. So basically we want those employee ID who were reporting to some manager, but their manager have now left the company and their salary is less than 30,000 USD. So how we can do that? We'll simply first filter the data based on the condition that employee salary should be less than $30,000. After that, we'll filter based on the condition that manager ID should not be present in the employee ID column, because those manager ID which are not present in the employee ID, they have left the company. And after that, at last we'll just return the result by order by employee ID. Like we'll see the actual query to understand it in a better way. So in the output we want employee ID, so we'll select employee ID, from employees table and filter the rows based on the condition that salary should be less than 30,000 USD, and their manager ID should not be present in employee ID column. After that, we'll just do order by employee ID.